Awesome. So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us today. We are really excited to share with you our final session for this semester related to our STEM and CTE programs here at Northern Virginia Community College. And in just a moment here, I'm going to share the screen and we'll go over a few things, and you'll hear from some amazing panelists and faculty members to share about our program. So hopefully everybody can see my screen. If not, just let me know. But today we are actually going to hear from, as I mentioned, some amazing individuals. But so one of the things that we always do, we just try to keep this a little bit consistent. And sometimes people say, well, where does this information come from? So what we do is we follow the career clusters, which is the focus for Virginia when it comes to the career clusters in career and technical education. This particular cluster that we'll focus on today is related to the business management and administration. And obviously there are a variety of careers that are available. And so this information is directly from the Virginia Department of Education website. And so as you see on the next slide, some of these examples are ones that come from VDOE, but also some that we reference here at NOVA. And so you can see kind of a variety of positions that are offered. And again, there are a lot of jobs and career pathways that are available related to business management and administration. So what I want to do first is I'm going to introduce a couple, I'm going to introduce our panelists here and just tell you a little bit about them, a little bit about who they are and what they do, and just a few fun facts about them. But when we have some Q&A time here, they're going to tell you some pretty amazing stories, some unique things about them that you'd probably never guess. And but you'll also know that the reason why we have them on this panel is because they are exceptional individuals. So the first person that I want to mention to you is Dr. Kathleen Cogdill. She's the Associate Dean for Math, Science, Technologies, and Business. And she has a background in a PhD in educational policy from George Mason University, an MBA from Virginia Tech, and a BA in communication arts and a minor in business from Marymount University. She is very accomplished. She is so collaborative and has such a diverse, versatile background. And she has over 30 years of experience and a flair for leading people in the right direction. She is highly collaborative with a talent for building productive relationships, fostering smooth functioning while driving others towards excellence and attaining their goals. Her verifiable leadership, interpersonal communication, and problem-solving skill sets are presented succinctly and with a crisp point. As a successful mentor to peers and colleagues, she has a solid track record in the delivering her personal best at every step, providing optimal results. She cherishes a challenge using innate problem-solving skills and has a never say never attitude. And definitely want to say that I have met her for the first time today, and 100% of what her bio says is the person that she is. And she's been amazing in helping us pull together this panel. So Dr. Cogdill, if you'd like to wave and say hello. Next up, we have Paula Bowens. Paula, as you see here, after graduating from high school, Paula has a unique path, and I'm actually not going to tell the whole story on her bio because I want her to tell the story when we speak with her. But she did graduate with the business administration focus from Northern Virginia Community College, and she has a BA in marketing from James Madison University. After receiving her associate's degree, Paula transferred to JMU to obtain her four-year degree, and she went in the marketing track. Paula gives credit to her education for opening doors to a successful career in business development and marketing across multiple industries. With her confidence and experiences, she became a business owner in 2019 to One Degree Consulting, a full-service brand management and consulting agency. Paula likes to work out, watch her favorite sports team, and read in her free time. So Paula, if you want to wave and let everyone know who you are, thank you for joining us. And then finally, our panelist here is Maddie Kuzma. Am I saying it correct, Maddie? I hope I'm saying it correctly.
Kuzma.
Kuzma. So Maddie, I'm only going to give you a few little points about her bio as well, so that she can tell you in her words. But Maddie is going to be graduating in the fall of 2021, and she's studying business management at VCU currently and preparing for an upcoming internship at a really great place. So I'm going to let her tell you how is she on here if she's graduating, but wait, but you said that she has this degree. She's going to tell you all about her wonderful experiences and all the things that she's done to put herself where she is. But Maddie is very good at multitasking. She has the ability to work and be a student full time, which she's going to share with you. And she also has some pretty unique experiences. She's so amazing in her bio. She talked about how we can follow her on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Maddie Kuzma. And we will share all this information out with you all. So you'll have this information and of course here on the screen. But while she's not, attending this panel and doing other things, she is always looking to get her name and resume out there. So Maddie, this is a great way because afterwards we upload this video and then people can view it anywhere, anytime. And so really to build up her resume and her experiences are awesome. She has experience in hospitality and banquets, using Excel inventory and scheduling. She has experience in management and has led events with up to 300 people. And Maddie survived courses during the pandemic and has taken every mode of instruction and finished her degree. I won't tell you how soon, but she'll tell you. But she did some really amazing things. And as I mentioned, she is also going to VCU at this time. So Maddie, thank you for being with us today as well. So now the part that I really enjoy, where we get to hear from our panelists. So Maddie, we're going to spotlight you, and Paula, we're going to spotlight you. And now it's time for us to talk a little bit more. I tried to keep the suspense, with your bios, but it was kind of hard because I wanted to read it. But Paula, since we started with you, can you just start with telling us, how did you end up at Nova? Why? Was that something that you were like, yes, go, and your parents are like, yes, go, or no? I mean, tell us about who you are, Paula, and then Maddie will have you do the same thing, telling us about who you are and how you got to Nova and kind of your special story. And then we'll go into some of those other questions, but we just really want to hear from you all and your experiences.
Well, thank you. I graduated from Osborne Park in Manassas campus in Manassas back in 1980 something. I won't go into specifics. And I was battling my parents. My parents have, from the time we were small, telling us that we were going to go to college. But I took classes in high school where I could go take a civil service test and be able to work. And so my thought process was, I'm going to go out there and just take the civil service test and be able to work and forget about college. But my mom and dad were battling me and saying, no, you're not going to do that. You're going to go to college. You can either go away to college or stay here, go to Nova for about 2 years, and then decide what you want to do. And so that's exactly what I did. I had a bunch of high school buddies who did the same thing. We were at Nova together, sitting around one day and we were like, hey, what are we gonna do next? And we said, let's sign up for or apply for Madison. So I applied for Madison and I applied for an HBCU, which was Hampton Institute at the time, and ended up getting accepted at Hampton, but decided to decline, finished my second year because my parents were like, well, you're at Nova, you're doing well. Why don't you finish, get your second year degree, and then if you want to go away, go away. And so I declined Hampton, stayed for another year, got my associate degree, and then got accepted in Madison, went to the campus, loved Madison, and the rest is history. So I graduated from James Madison in '89 in marketing.
Awesome. Thank you, Paula. And, it's so interesting because like you said, a lot of times, parents will say like, no, this is what you're going to do. And you're like, no, I want to do this track. I want to do this first. And then, okay, yeah, then that's the deal. And then I'm going to do, what I want to do after that. So that's awesome. And Maddie, what about you? We know that, people are probably confused, right? Like she's graduating in December, but then it says that she's graduating, but then she's at VCU. Like, how does this all happen? And she's graduated early. Like people are just probably blowing their mind, like what this is all about. So tell us about you and how you decided to come to Nova and what you did to advance through.
Yeah, so I actually graduated from Kettle Run High School in Nokesville in May of 2020. But I was part of the graduating class that was affected by COVID. I would say the most, others would disagree, but our school stopped, I think, on March 13th of that year. So I was just sitting around a lot, and I think my mom came up with the idea for me to start looking at colleges, and then Dr. Cogdell actually came to my high school a couple weeks earlier than that to talk about it and just get us some just give some information about NOVA. So I thought that would be a great idea. And I actually started at NOVA about 3 weeks before I graduated high school, starting in business administration. And I didn't stop from there. I worked all through that summer, that fall, and then I'm going to be graduating the end of this semester, but I did finish my classes this past October. So I think that's about 18 months that I did my degree in. And then I started here at VCU in August, so there was a little bit of an overlap with my classes, but not too much. Here I'm studying business management, and I do have an internship coming up. Next semester, I will be working with the Disney College program down in Orlando from January to June of 2022. So that's very exciting. There's a lot of cool stuff here, a lot of hands-on stuff.
Awesome. And Maddie, how many hours, credit hours, did you take your last semester? It's kind of at NOVA.
Well, actually, my last semester, I just had one class left over.
Okay. But the one just before that?
The semester before that, I was taking 22 credits. And actually, at the same time, I had both a full-time and a part-time job.
So what kind of work were you doing and being able to take 22 hours?
It was a lot of work, actually. My part-time job, I was working at a daycare that was a little bit outside of Warrenton. And then my full-time job was actually at Airlie, which was also in Warrenton, which is a great place to work. I was there for about 2.5 years in a management role. And I was at the daycare for about 3 months.
So I guess a question for both of you, and Maddie, I'll start with you and then go back to Paula, is, so how did you really manage all your time? That's both of you seem like you do a lot or have a lot of things that you're involved in. Maddie, how did you do all this? Did you sleep? Did you I mean, you look like you're pretty happy and healthy. So
I am, yeah. Well, I am a very organized person. So I can't tell if, I don't know if you guys can see, but on my door, I have a lot of sticky notes on the wall behind my computer. I have color-coded sticky notes everywhere. I write absolutely every single thing down. I did rely a lot of 5-hour energy during that semester. But usually, what I did was I just wrote everything down, had daily schedules. I have a whiteboard calendar. I just made sure everything was written out.
that's awesome. And Paula, what about you? We know that you have now your own business, and then you're involved in the community with your alumni activities with JMU and other groups, and spending time with friends and family and traveling. And how do you manage all of your time and getting everything done?
So I'm not like Maddie when I was a little younger. I wish I was Maddie. It would have saved me some time and trouble. So basically for me, it's life experience. I had to kind of grow into focus. So when I went from NOVA to college, I thought I could do the same thing from NOVA to Madison like I did, and that didn't work. So probably my senior year, I had a conversation with the dean of business at Madison, and he basically kind of put me on that focus track of what I needed to do in order to be successful to my next career. So I think that started off that path of being a little bit more focused. However, I am one of those people that's not very structured. So it takes a lot of energy and time. So I try to write things down, but I don't always follow them. So for me, it's just a matter of just continually trying to structure myself. And I'm still doing it to this day, but I'm better. I like Maddie. I did create a wall for sticky notes and colorize them. So I'm getting there. But I do notice that every now and then I get off track. I'm one of those multitaskers, but I go down one rabbit hole to the next. So it's a struggle. The struggle is real. And if anybody's like me, it's daily to try to keep that structure, but I'm still learning. How about that?
Awesome. And actually, I'm going to, ask Dr. Cogdill if you might be able just to answer a question. Are there any courses or things that you all do to help encourage NOVA students to, is there a class that focuses on organizational systems and time management, or is that something that you kind of encourage them to seek out in other professional development arenas?
One of the first classes a student takes, any student at NOVA, is the student development course. And that's the orientation to college. And that goes into organizational tactics, how to keep track of time, scheduling, what a three credit course means in studying time. And, just because you're a 3 credit course in class, that you're looking at 6 hours outside of class to do work for that class. And then if you add another credit to it, because it's a math or a science class, you have to allow for that time. So there's a lot of time budgeting strategies that come out in that orientation. And those are and that's usually in the first semester. It's 7 weeks long. You meet 1 hour a week. And the idea is to get you ramped up for the level of work that's going to be coming in your direction.
Excellent. Excellent. And I think, like Paula said too, it's like those life experiences and things that change along the way. And you have to, I would say, in any industry, but definitely like in an area related to business, management or administration, is like, you have to be flexible. You have to be fluid. You have to be willing to, change and react or be proactive at times. So that's great. So this next question is actually for all three of you, and Dr. Cogdill, we'll start with you, and then Paula, and then Maddie, since that's how you are on my screen in reverse order. What challenges do you face in your industry? And I know right now we're talking about with you, Dr. Cogdill, like on the education side, but what challenges do you face or deal with as it relates to the work that you do?
Life in general. Having to learn how to pivot during a pandemic and reach students' needs at the same time being able to teach. We all learned how to get Zoom efficient pretty quick, faculty as well as students. And I think we found more strategic ways to communicate. Emails became more direct. Zoom sessions became more productive. It wasn't just a matter of learning this new toy. It was how do we utilize it and use it to our benefit. I think the one thing that's taught me in any of my educational experiences has been to be able to pivot, because life will always get in the way when you've got a plan. It's going to happen. You just it's how you react as to what makes, build your character. It also builds your ability to show resilience and grit. And Maddie is a testament to grit. No matter what is going on in her life, she just kept going and, shouldered down and pushed through. We work with our students to make sure that, I can only take 9 credits this semester. Okay, can you take one more class in the fall to keep you on track for that 30 credits in an academic year, to keep you on the track you want to be on? There's a lot of advising and conversation that goes on in working with students to ensure that they understand the academic load and their timeline that they match.
Sorry, awesome. That's great. And, one of our participants is, just talking about like, life, having to go through life experiences, and just, it takes time, like you said, to, react or respond or train yourself, coach yourself. So,
and our faculty are very aware that life gets in the way, and they're very aware of being able to work with students. So faculty are amenable to working with students, no matter where they land. And we might not have students that we, would all like to be, but at some point going through college, you learn how to become the student you want to be. And it's an evolution. It doesn't happen overnight. We
Absolutely.
work with what we have, and we make better with what we've got.
Absolutely. Paula, same question for you. What challenges do you face? And you're a business owner, so you probably have some, additional things that, come as challenges as well.
I agree. Life, first off, is a challenge within itself. Just the different storms that you have to go through, and I look at it as a journey. So I think if I tell anybody or anybody who's going through things, it's a storm after storm, but it's how you come at the end of it. And I think what it does, it teaches you how to do whatever your next role is going to be. I always look at them as life lessons and whatever the challenge that you're facing. For me as a business owner, I started, this is my second time around. So my first time around as a business owner, I did it in 2006, 2009. Who knew in 2009, the economy was going to crash. And therefore, we had contracts that were getting ready to get signed, as a matter of fact. And all of a sudden, a new administration comes in DC, the whole department gets wiped out. And then, of course, the economy hits, and there we are, me and my business partner, and we're looking at this like, okay, what do we do next? How do we survive? My business partner's like, let's fold. And I'm like, let's stay in the trenches. If we can just stay and continue to do this, maybe we'll get there, right? Because at the end of the day, owning your own business is not easy, but it's rewardable. So fast forward, I'm 2019, I'm doing the same thing over again. I've learned from what happened in 2006, and throughout my whole journey, I've learned how to manage the different challenges that come. You don't get upset, you just figure out how to either go through them or go around them. That's how you do it. So with COVID, it's a matter of, okay, let's get on Zoom. Let's start making calls. Let's go back to the basics and making those connections, because being a new business, I need connections. That's what I need to make the business work. And so for me, it's just a matter of looking at the different challenges and then figuring out how to make it work for me and being positive about it. I mean, there's no point in getting upset, even though we do, we're all human. But at the end of the day, you know, we still have to figure out that problem.
Awesome. Thank you. And I think the networks that we have are so important too, as we all, you know, that are putting this on together. And one of the participants said very encouraging responses. So,
Thank you.
but yeah, one of the things that, you know, we talked about when we first got on here before our participants joined is, you know, we were all talking about networking and how this session organically came together in a short amount of time, and just we're all willing to give and help and support. And now we have these new networks of contacts. Like Nikki and I have learned some things from Dr. Cogdill that, like, oh, here's another way that we can like get more information out. You know, now we have someone who's graduated from the program in the past and has a business. And then we have Maddie, who we're going to have you answer that last question. But, you know, Maddie, who's someone who's just experienced this. And I didn't even realize, Maddie, that you graduated during this time and then started at Nova. Like you know, because till you hear their story, I was like, oh, maybe, you know, Maddie's been here a couple of years. No, you like were in the middle of this. And so I definitely think that, yes, continuing to share that story and where you started and where you are now and where you want to go is very inspiring. And it's something to continue to share. So Maddie, we know that you went through a lot of challenges, I guess you could say. So, but what challenges would you say that you faced either, you know, during the school time or, and I know you mentioned a few of that, or even now as you're going into your career?
Honestly, I think my biggest challenge, I mean, aside from COVID and everything shutting down, was how to deal with your mental health during it, because it's just so easy to just sit down and say, I'll do it later, I'll do it tomorrow, I don't really need this. But I think what kept me going, honestly, was spite. In spite of the people who said that I couldn't do it, in spite of the people that, you know, weren't expecting me to be able to do it, because I'm so young and there's so many struggles that are ahead of me, and from how I was raised. The biggest thing that's kept me going is just telling myself that I can do it and I am doing it. That's the biggest thing. It's just saying that I am doing it, not that maybe I'll be able to do it if I guess it'll get done. Is I'm doing it right now and I'm doing it well. There were some struggles while I was at Nova, you know, trying to get study groups, the whole office hours, everything that was going on during the height of COVID, during especially the fall semester of 2020. But as we got into 2021, and especially during the summer semester, everything seemed to open back up. And most of my professors were really nice about it, especially Dr. Cogdill, who was always offering to help me and offering to help me get my name out there. She actually helped me set up my LinkedIn account. So I've been really appreciative for the people at Nova.
Awesome. Awesome. So what advice, Maddie, I'll start with you, go back. What advice would you have for someone who's interested in, you know, maybe majoring in business? Because like we said, you know, we will have this video available for individuals who, you know, want to learn about, you know, the programs here. And obviously we're going to hear from Dr. Cogdill about the program itself, the programs that are available. But what advice would you have for anyone?
Never stop working. I started at Airlie in my junior year of high school, and I worked there up until I moved here to VCU this past August. And I always up to a challenge. Every time there was a large event and no one wanted to lead it, I would go up to my manager, with or without the confidence to do it. You just always have to step up to the plate no matter what, because if you do it, the confidence will follow.
Excellent. Excellent. And I love the fact that you said I am trying, or what was that phrase that you said?
I am doing it. I am doing it.
I am doing it. I like that. I like that. Paula, same question for you. What advice would you have for individuals who are interested in, you know, doing business or marketing, you know, as a major or focus, or having their own business, starting their own business?
I'm with Maddie. Let me just say that COVID, I was like trying to figure out, why I am the way I am. So I already knew that I was an introvert, but I wanted to just see for myself when I took the Myers-Briggs. So I'm an INTP, if anybody knows what all that means. And so with that, I would say as an INTP and as a business owner, and I have this sticker on my wall that says, if I fear it, I have to do it. So public speaking for me has always been an issue. I've never, I always loved to be in the background, never wanted to be in the forefront. And so I'm putting myself out there. And I would say for anybody out there who's going to school, chase your dreams. The world is yours. If you fear it, you have to do it. So don't, you're the only person who can limit yourself. No one else can do that. I mean, people could tell you, you can't do this. I get annoyed when people say, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I can't. But it's up to you to make it happen. No one else can do it for you. It's up to you. So no one can stop you but you and your mental space. So it's all about the mindset. If you want this dream, chase it. If you fall short, you fall short, but that's opening up another door for you to do something else. I always feel like whatever door closes, there's always opportunity for other things too. So, just chase what you want, go for it. No one can tell you no except for you.
Awesome, thank you. And Dr. Cogdell, I don't know if you want to say anything or if your presentation will address that question. So either way.
I would just say that if you're looking at business, the important part is most people think business means you're sitting in an office 9 to 5, Monday through Friday in front of a cubicle or a computer. That is so not true. Today, business is what you make it. Business is a skill. Business is, I'm going to be a marketer. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to be an accountant. You have a skill. Monetize that. That's your passion. You don't have to be coerced to do something you're already interested in. It will drive you. And that drive will lead you to where you want to go. And, Paula and Maddie are right. If you fear it, confront it, go for it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain except wondering what it would have happened if you tried. It's all a matter of trying. Failing is the best lesson. I'm not saying fail big. I'm not saying, bankrupt yourself. What I'm saying is confront what fears you and get strategic to address it. I mean, there's so many instances in life that, just happen to you and you have no control over it. How you react to it is what you have a control over. It could come up with a new business idea. It could be a new way to do something different. It's hard to get to where you want to be if you wonder how you're supposed to get there without everything in place. Everything's never in place. Businesses thrive on that chaos. Why? Because they've learned a new market. They've found a new niche. They found a new customer because of it. And guess what? They fixed a problem they didn't know they were capable of just because they addressed it. Business is developing skills. It's not a job of business. Everything's a business. A profit-seeking activity is by definition a business. Nonprofit, for-profit, not for-profit, doesn't matter. You are seeking a profit. Okay, what do I want to seek my personal profit to be? How do I want to impact?
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Paula and Maddie, for the two of you, before we transition over to hearing about the NOVA programs, is what else would you like to share with attendees? And Paula, we'll go with you. Anything that you wanted to share that we didn't ask you, or that's you've thought of, this is your chance to share if there's anything else you'd like to add.
I would just say education is the key. It opens the doors. My 18-year-old self did not know that back then, but thank God my parents forced it on me. And through education, I am constantly learning. I'm constantly on marketing channels. Now that they've opened the doors with Zoom being free, some of the things at conferences being free, I'm looking at different interests. I have multiple interests, and I'm pursuing those. And I would just say that, you may have several, chase them all if you can. You know your limitations, but it's that drive within you that's going to make you successful. And as they say, back in my day when I worked for Xerox said, fail to plan, plan to fail to plan, something like that. And it was always the fear factor of we always failing on something. In today's world, I look at failure as if I fail on something, it's a lesson for me to learn. And it's either I'm going to continue doing that, pursuing whatever it is, or I'm going to pursue something differently. But accept, if you do fail, accept it, learn from it, and move on. Life is a journey. Enjoy the journey, ride through the storms, and at the end of the day, just be you, be your true self.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Paula. And Maddie, last question. What else would you like to share that we didn't ask or you want to make sure to share?
Something that one of my professors here at VCU told us on the first day of our classes was that conflict is good because it always provides the option for opportunity. And I think that's something that really stuck with me, because every time something happens at work, you don't get along with a coworker or something bad. In my case, when I worked at Airly, if it rained on a wedding day, so the bride was missing, something like that, that always offered a room for opportunity, somewhere, a place that you can step up to the plate and show your expertise and show your expertise and show how you can handle conflict well. As a student at Nova, I wasn't given the opportunity to do clubs, sports, any things like that. But I would definitely suggest it for students who are looking to go to Nova now. I am currently in a marketing club here. I am helping start up a color guard here at VCU. So definitely get out there, network is the most important thing. You meet people, you can make connections. It's very important. I would suggest there is a club at Nova. There's a women in business club. There's an economics club. Lots of things that you can do. And even if it's not just for your major, things that interest you are also very good to do.
Excellent. And, Maddie kind of is giving you all a little preview of after Dr. Cogdill speaks. We just have some slides, and again, you'll get this presentation, but we have some links to a lot of different clubs and organizations and professional associations to get involved with. So thank you so much, Paula and Maddie, for joining us on here. And it just dawned on me, and I know you guys can talk offline, but you two are actually near each other now that Maddie's not VCU. I just realized that. So Maddie, you're another mentor for you. So, but yes, thank you both so much for giving your time to be on the panel. And next we're going to transition over and we are going to hear from Dr. Cogdill. And I am just working on removing different, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to add you again because I need to remove, there we go. And then I'm going to remove your spotlight here, but you are free to share whenever you're ready. And I will work on the back end to change your screen.
All right. Hello again. This is what I put this together. I'm entrepreneurial in that regard. I don't like to not have something to speak from. So this is when I'm working with business students, and these are business students either in the business management program or the business administration program at Nova. And from the beginning, business students need to start thinking about career planning. What do you want to be doing in 5 years? Not how much money making, how much education you have. We'll assume your education's behind you. Where do you want to be in 5 years? What does your day job look like? Are you working with people? Are you training internally? Are you promoting something externally? Are you working inside a company in HR helping hire people? Are you out and about in the community talking about your business or your service as to how it's the best thing ever? What is your actual activity? Because that can help students understand their interest levels. So when I'm looking at the programs at Nova, I'm looking at multiple ways to find my fit. So we have accounting. Those are applied associate's degrees, a career study certificate, even a data analytics and accounting, and a bookkeeping certificate. If our accounting AAS program is primarily for the post-baccalaureate student, it's the student who did not major in, may have gotten a business degree, but needs 30 more credits in accounting to sit for the CPA license. That program is dedicated to those students. The accounting career study certificate is also available to undergraduate students who would like to be able to show that want for accounting or get a bookkeeping certificate while they're at Nova. Here are our business programs. Business administration is the transfer degree. Business management, the applied associate's degree is what we call the workforce degree, but that now has a transfer path to George Mason where you can get a bachelor's degree of applied science and continue to create. The more mature students look at that AAS to a bachelor's of applied science because then they can get credit for prior learning. My 25 years working as a vice president in a bank is going to have some college credential equivalency. So we work with students to help there too. Entrepreneurship, leadership development. These are all opportunities for students to get other credentials while they're getting a degree. Contract management. We work in the Northern Virginia area. The federal government is one of our largest employers. Most people are not aware that a contract manager in the federal government level must possess a bachelor's degree. We just built the AAS in contract management to the Bachelor of Applied Science in Management to George Mason. So a student would leave Nova, go to Mason and get a bachelor's of applied science in a management contact area and come out with that associates and bachelor's and be able to be gainfully employed. And then we have the marketing. Marketing is a career studies certificate program. So you can get your emphasis if you'd like to while you're here. It might require more courses. So you just have to, figure out where you want to pick up some extra credentials. But those are the programs at Nova that we affectionately call business programs. Then we get to which one is which? Business administration is the Associate of Science. It is the transfer degree. 70% of our students transfer specifically to George Mason University under the Guaranteed Admissions Agreement, or they use the advanced program. The advanced program to George Mason is a specific arrangement between Northern Virginia Community College and George Mason University. A student enters Nova, and within the first 30 credits, which is the first year of your education, you have applied to George Mason while you're still at Nova. You get accepted to that program. You've been accepted to George Mason. You do not graduate and have to reapply. You will finish Nova and then automatically be picked up by George Mason. And that's encouraged for students who know they already want to go to Mason. The business management program is the Associate of Applied Science, and we call that the working degree. These are entrepreneurs. Most of the students in our business management program already own businesses. These are the legacy businesses. Daughter and son are going to inherit mom and dad's fortune with their business. They're going to get some business credentials behind them. So their financing going forward, the bank is more able to lend because they understand that the next generation of ownership understands business. If you want to transfer, you're going in as a second semester sophomore, or if you're going straight to George Mason in the Bachelor of Applied Science, you're going to be a junior. So business administration, remember, you have to finish 60 credits. 60 credits is the general education course, 30 credits of that. 2 English composition classes, 2 lab sciences. You're business people, you're not scientists, take geology. You don't need to take biology, physics, or chemistry. Requires a higher math. Besides, study the rocks and planets for another semester. It won't hurt you. 2 accounting classes, those are your financial and managerial courses. Economics is macro and micro. Your humanities classes are your art history, your physics, you want to take logic or ethics, or you'd like to take that English 200 level course in Greek mythology, those are humanities courses. Your public speaking class, 1 history class, the 4 business classes. Intro to Business is BUS 100. Business Statistics is Business 224 after you finish your math series. Business 270 is the what we affectionately call the business communications class. It's actually interpersonal communication in a dynamic business organization. That's a lot of words. Basically, we help you build a LinkedIn profile. We help you with your resume. We work with you to create the documents you need to create an online portfolio or an online presence as an emerging business professional. And then BUS 280 is the international business course. 1 ITE class, and then your student development course. There are other equivalents depending on your transfer institution. Business administration students need to locate a faculty advisor within that first year of coursework, so you pick the appropriate courses that align with your transfer plans. Business management, you still take the same English classes. You take a different math and you take both accounting classes. Your economics class is a survey course. Would highly recommend you look at something like macro or microeconomics. Still take your public speaking class. Now you're getting into the nitty gritty of your business, your principles of marketing class, your corporate finance class, and you get to pick 4 different business electives. So let's say you're in finance for your business. You could take all finance classes, 12 more credits, and you would have a finance concentration, but you would pick from accounting, business, contract management, economics, finance, hospitality, information technology, or marketing. Then you'll take the required 6 business classes of Intro to Business, Applied Business Math, where you calculate payroll taxes, you learn how inventory management systems work, principles of management, business statistics, business law 1 and 2. You'll take your ITE class, 1 humanities class, and then the SDV, which starts everybody's travels at Nova. So if you are confused, you are not alone. Just to give you an idea, you have to keep in mind that regardless of degree, the English needs to begin early. Your math needs to begin early because you're making the foundational critical thinking steps. Sequential science, you have to take geology 1 and 2. You don't pick 1 biology and 1 geology and call that your science. They're sequential. Your humanities are important. If you're running your own small business, maybe your humanities class is ethics, because you'll be taking business law at the same time if you're in business management. So having ethics with that business law class could really help you in some theoretical foundation. Future international business majors, if you're going to go on to your 4-year school, start looking at a 200 level language that you're going to have to show a language proficiency by the time you reach your 4-year school. And that is recommended for most business schools. The guaranteed admissions agreement from Mason, Math 261. I'm giving you a lot of detail and this will be provided to you, but this is things to keep in mind. This is why your math has to start early. You have to be in applied calculus before more than 1 semester before you enter George Mason. Your English 112 is your lit basis. We highly recommend a 200 level literature course with that 1 humanities section. So when you get to George Mason, you're not taking their English 200, which is a literature course. You used it here as a humanities course, better bang for the buck. Your sequential sciences, your minimum GPA for the guaranteed admissions agreement to George Mason University is a cumulative GPA of 2.85. So if you're sitting on a 3.0, 3.3, 3.4, go, you already are in. James Madison, this is where it gets different. Student has to sign a letter of intent 1 year prior to transfer. We have embedded advisors at Nova. We have embedded advisors that come to us and have offices in our office space to talk to students who are transferring to their institution. So you would meet with Jennifer Jackson, who is our embedded advisor for James Madison, sit down with her, walk through your plan, build your roadmap to success. You sign a letter of intent basically with her, and she sends that to the admissions office at James Madison to say, future Duke is on the way. Math 261, again, has to be completed more than 1 semester prior to graduation for the guaranteed admissions. That doesn't mean you can't get in. It just makes sure Math 261 is 2 semesters away from you actually showing up in Harrisonburg. Sequential science, 9 credits of general electives that's specified. Those 9 credits are specified by James Madison. Those are not bus 224, 270, and 280 as they are for George Mason. They're different courses. They're ITE 100. They want database management. They'd like you to take the business statistics. We did over time get them to accept bus 270, and that took 3 years of my time to work that, but we worked it. And their minimum GPA for a guaranteed admissions agreement is a 3.0. So this is why finding a faculty advisor in your first 30 credits, once you know where you want to transfer, finding that faculty advisor in the business faculty who are full-time to help you make sure you make those decisions early so you're headed to the path you want to be on. And we did get bus 270. Woohoo! That was 3 years of work. I finally got it accepted. So we look at Marymount. People don't tend to think about the private schools. Some of the private schools are the most generous with financial aid. Now, granted, I am biased. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in communications and a minor in business from Marymount. If it weren't for their generous financial aid well before the internet had been invented, I would not be a Marymount graduate. 99% of their students are on financial aid, so don't let the sticker shock scare you. Your GPA at Nova could get you up to $5,000 to $10,000 in an academic scholarship transferring. Just keep that in mind. Sequential science, notice the pattern. English 112, okay, minimum of 30 credits are completed at Nova. You have to complete at Nova. If you have the degree, it makes it a whole lot easier for your placement in the junior coursework. The humanities requirement, they want the 200 level literature course. So as your 1 humanities requirement, take the 200 level literature. Keep in mind, you've just opened up James Madison, George Mason, and Marymount just with that 200 level literature class as a humanities selection. 1 history course, they recommend History 101. You already have to take a history class. There we go. We're still operating under 3 institutions. Their 9 credits of general electives are specified. They want business law. They want business statistics in the Math 245 realm. They don't want the bus 224. So if you know you're going to Marymount and you're taking Math 245 and I see that in your student progress report, I know you're not going to George Mason or James Madison. you're headed to Marymount or another school looking for Math 245. Bus 270, the interpersonal dynamics in the business organization. Notice we're always making sure you leave Nova prepared so you're just as competitive as the native student who's already there. The minimum GPA for Marymount is a 275. Each one of these can change, okay? When push comes to shove, how do you get all this done and still show you have a proclivity for a business? Well, you should be looking at professional organizations with student memberships. These organizations have student memberships. So I belong to the American Marketing Association as a student, and I paid $35 a year as a student. When I paid for it as a professional, my employer paid it at a cost of $250. I'd gone from marketing student to marketing professional to marketing educator, and I'm still part of the marketing education realm. I'm paying for that out of pocket because that organization has informed my teaching as well as my advising. If you know what content area you're looking for, the DC chapter areas are very, very involved, and that's where your networking starts. It was a real, I guess you could say, watershed moment for me when I went to an American Marketing Association meeting as a student, and I looked as new as could be. You knew I was a student. And I walked in there a little intimidated because these are all marketing professionals. They all have their degrees. They have, what my kids would say, big girl, big boy jobs. And, I didn't know what to do. I was so welcomed. Oh, are you a student that's joining us? Oh, please come sit with us. It was so warm and inviting because they're looking at future professionals. Are you looking for an internship yet? Do you need help with your resume? I mean, just jumping in to help, and all because we belong to the same organization. Those student memberships matter. Northern Virginia Community College has chapters of Phi Beta Lambda, which is the FBLA PBL, we call it. That is the two-year school version of FBLA as I have had in high school. Phi Beta Lambda, we are a chapter at the Manassas campus. We are working towards building that chapter and doing our service work and being recognized. That works on a resume to say you were a member of an organization built on your major. But each one of these organizations has student memberships available. So I would highly encourage all students of business to look for a student membership in the professional alignment for where you want to be going, because that does help inform your class choices, inform your opportunities to do informational interviews. An informational interview is just simply, could I have a moment of your time to ask you how you got where you got, and what would you tell a student today? Those informational interviews are part of the Bus 270 curriculum. We encourage students to do an informational interview. Find somebody in a profession you want, ask them how they got there. That's the beginning of your network. Always keep those contacts, aware of what you're up to. And if you still have questions, I am available, not all day of time and night, but that is my email address. That is my phone number. And if you are a student of business or a student of Nova, I would be more than happy to talk to you and help you in any way traverse or navigate this institution to your benefit.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Cogdill.